Archangel Michael says, "Don't dare ignore this. A mistake was made and time is running out to fix it. My child, my beloved. Before you take another breath, I need you to hear me, not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Something has gone wrong in the spiritual order of your life. A decision you made, or perhaps something you didn't do, created a divine delay. And now heaven has sent me, Archangel Michael, not just to speak with you, but to urgently intervene. God has opened a small window, a portal of reversal, and it is closing fast. If you do not respond, what was meant to be corrected may become permanent. You were not meant to stumble at this point. You were meant to rise. This message did not reach you by accident. You were called to this moment by the voice of heaven. And I beg you, do not walk away this time. Don't make the same mistake again. My child, my beloved. Please, for the sake of your future, subscribe or follow this message so you never miss what heaven is trying to tell you again. This message was delayed for days, because the timing had to be perfect. God waited until your soul was sensitive enough to feel the urgency of this moment. There's no coincidence you're seeing this now. There is something hidden that must be revealed before the clock resets. Heaven has been watching you weep in silence, trying to carry a burden you never should have been holding. And here's the truth, something you trusted wasn't what it seemed. You thought a certain choice would heal you, but instead, it quietly redirected your destiny down a path that wasn't yours. Now I am being commanded to reroute you. But if you ignore this, your miracle may detour again. And this time, it may not return. My child, my beloved. Someone around you whispered words that altered your direction. Their influence distracted you from your original divine appointment. You thought it was a small decision. A minor step. But in the spirit realm, it opened a gate that allowed confusion to walk in. And ever since then, you felt like something is off. That's because it is. The reason your plans haven't been working, the reason peace hasn't settled, is because God's original blueprint was disrupted. But there is hope. Right now, I've been permitted to restore what you didn't even know was lost. But you must receive this before the spiritual deadline strikes midnight. Time is not on your side unless you move now. Heaven is willing to reverse what was broken, but only if you say yes. My child, my beloved. You think heaven is quiet, but it's not. We've been shouting through signs. Through dreams. Through delays that you didn't understand. That cancelled plan? That rejection? That unexpected shift? That wasn't punishment. That was protection. Because if you had gotten what you asked for back then, it would have destroyed you. God delayed it, not to deny you, but to position you. And now, He's giving you one final opportunity to correct the course before what was supposed to be temporary becomes irreversible. You have 24 hours before a door closes. And once it shuts, not even I, Michael, can reopen it. That's why I was sent with this urgent call. This is not a message to entertain. This is a message to obey. My child, my beloved. I saw what happened in the last 72 hours. I saw who said what behind your back. I saw the secret that was kept from you. I saw the tears you refused to let fall. And I saw the mistake, the very moment it was made. And I've been waiting for heaven's permission to speak to you. That permission just dropped. And I am telling you now, you still have a chance. But it's shrinking. Someone tried to interfere with your calling. But they didn't know who you were. They didn't know the bloodline you come from. They didn't realize you are marked by God Himself. And that's why I've come to war for your destiny. But I can only do what you allow. I can only fight where I'm welcomed. And so I ask, will you let me shield you? Will you let heaven rewrite what was wronged? My child, my beloved. I am trembling with urgency. I don't usually beg, but today, I'm begging you. Heaven has dispatched a scroll with your name on it. It contains the exact details of the mistake. What was lost? What can still be reversed? But if you skip this message, it will vanish. You were never meant to be at this level of delay. You were never meant to settle with this pain. There's an alternate timeline God created for you, but it can only activate if you respond now. Don't take this moment lightly. Time bends for no one, unless heaven commands it. And this is the final command I've been given: deliver this message and protect the one it's meant for. That's you. You are the one. You are the chosen. But you must not walk away. My child, my beloved. There is a mistake, yes, but do not let shame make you hide from this message. The mistake wasn't just your fault. It was the enemy's trap. It was manipulation. It was delay disguised as peace. You didn't see it clearly back then because you were hurting. You were exhausted. And heaven understood that. God never condemned you. But now that you are stronger, now that your heart is soft enough to listen, we are bringing this truth to the surface. You must correct it before it cements. You must move now, while grace is still flowing. Heaven's mercy is falling like rain, but even rain dries up if you ignore the sound of the storm. My child, my beloved. The decision you made may have seemed small, but it affected something sacred. You closed a door that heaven was opening, and you opened a door that God was trying to close. You were misled. Distracted. Spiritually tired. And in that moment, a detour was created. But now I, Archangel Michael, am holding the sword of correction. I am ready to fight every force that caused this delay. But you must let me. You must give me permission by saying yes to this divine rescue. If you stay silent, I cannot move. My assignment only activates when your soul responds. Will you allow me to correct this in time? My child, my beloved. There is a mistake, yes, but do not let shame make you hide from this message. The mistake wasn't just your fault. It was the enemy's trap. It was manipulation. It was delay disguised as peace. You didn't see it clearly back then because you were hurting. You were exhausted. And heaven understood that. God never condemned you. But now that you are stronger, now that your heart is soft enough to listen, we are bringing this truth to the surface. You must correct it before it cements. You must move now, while grace is still flowing. Heaven's mercy is falling like rain, but even rain dries up if you ignore the sound of the storm. My child, my beloved. The decision you made may have seemed small, but it affected something sacred. You closed a door that heaven was opening, and you opened a door that God was trying to close. You were misled. Distracted. Spiritually tired. And in that moment, a detour was created. But now I, Archangel Michael, am holding the sword of correction. I am ready to fight every force that caused this delay. But you must let me. You must give me permission by saying yes to this divine rescue. If you stay silent, I cannot move. My assignment only activates when your soul responds. Will you allow me to correct this in time? My child, my beloved. A divine scroll was dropped in the throne room of heaven last night. On that scroll is your name, and your timeline. There is a record of your miracle. There is a note of your calling. And there is a red mark, a mistake that heaven wants to erase forever. But if you turn away from this message now, that scroll will be sealed again. You will never know what God was trying to fix for you. And you may continue living under the weight of something that was never yours. I'm here to lift it. To break it. To realign what fell out of place. But urgency is everything now. Seconds matter. Your yes matters. Please don't wait. My child, my beloved. God knows you tried. You gave your best with the wisdom you had. But what you couldn't see is that there was a deeper war being fought around you. A spiritual war. There were forces that did not want you to find peace. That didn't want you to discover your true worth. They disguised their attack in silence. In routine. In comfort that became poison. That's why you feel stuck. You're not lazy. You're not cursed. You're not broken. You're under the weight of a battle that was never yours to carry. But now, because you've been found faithful, even in confusion, God has sent me to break the chain that caused all this delay. My child, my beloved. Something sacred is coming back to you. Something you lost, the moment you made that wrong turn, is being tracked by heaven right now. I am tracing the exact moment the enemy got access to your peace. And I am following it like a divine trail. At the end of that trail is your miracle, your release, your restoration. But I cannot reach it unless you allow this message to become your turning point. This is more than a message. This is a key. It's unlocking something spiritual that will manifest in your reality in days, not months, if you don't hesitate. Do not let fear slow you. This is your reroute. My child, my beloved. There is someone in your life who caused more harm than you realized. They didn't mean to, perhaps. But their influence pulled you out of alignment. They led you down a road that looked good but wasn't God. And now you're left carrying burdens you never signed up for. That's the mistake I'm referring to. That's the moment I want to reverse. You were meant to be further by now. But the delay ends here. If you obey. If you open your spirit to receive what I'm here to correct, heaven will reverse what was spoken over you. God is not only restoring time, He is rewriting your ending. My child, my beloved. What you're feeling right now, the tug in your spirit, the sudden tightness in your chest, that soft whisper asking you to keep reading, it's not your imagination. That is me. That is the presence of heaven brushing against your soul, confirming that you've just crossed into a moment that was predestined for your healing. I need you to know, what's coming will not wait. The opportunity you are about to receive has already passed by others who ignored it. But because you're still here, because you haven't given up yet, because your heart still listens when heaven calls, you've been marked to receive it. But the mistake must be addressed. God is not holding it against you. He's holding the space open so it can be corrected. But not forever. You have a divine countdown now. Every hour counts. My child, my beloved. You are closer than you think. The battle is not as big as it seems, it's just louder now because the enemy knows your window is opening. That's why strange things have been happening. That's why emotions are unstable. That's why certain people have gone silent, or started acting different, or disappeared suddenly. God is shaking loose what was never supposed to go with you into this next season. But you must not cling to what He is removing. Don't hold on to the hand that let go of you first. Let me show you who is for you and who is not. Let me reveal who played a role in the delay, so we can close the door for good. Because you deserve peace that doesn't keep getting interrupted. My child, my beloved. Do you know what happens when a soul delays their healing? The pain finds new ways to disguise itself. It turns into guilt. Into numbness. Into pretending to be okay. And heaven sees that you've been pretending for too long. Your smile has been faithful, but your heart has been breaking silently. That's not what you were created for. You were created to thrive, to soar, to love deeply without fear. But the mistake built a wall you couldn't climb, until today. Today, I have been sent with the divine permission to break that wall down and carry you through. Not because you're weak, but because you've been too strong for too long. Let heaven carry you now. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. Do you know what happens when a soul delays their healing? The pain finds new ways to disguise itself. It turns into guilt. Into numbness. Into pretending to be okay. And heaven sees that you've been pretending for too long. Your smile has been faithful, but your heart has been breaking silently. That's not what you were created for. You were created to thrive, to soar, to love deeply without fear. But the mistake built a wall you couldn't climb, until today. Today, I have been sent with the divine permission to break that wall down and carry you through. Not because you're weak, but because you've been too strong for too long. Let heaven carry you now. My child, my beloved. Someone thinks they got away with hurting you. They think no one saw what they did in the dark. But I saw. Heaven saw. God saw. And even though justice seemed delayed, it wasn't denied. It was preserved for the perfect moment. That moment is approaching. And this message is part of the preparation. I'm not just here to restore what was lost, I'm here to expose what was hidden. Because if the lie isn't uncovered, you'll keep repeating patterns that weren't even yours. But once it's revealed, everything will shift. Your clarity will return. Your peace will overflow. And the part of you that's been missing will come alive again. My child, my beloved. I have never been this urgent before. That's why I've come with the full authority of the throne room. That's why this message carries weight in your soul. Because heaven is not playing with this moment. What happens next will be defined by your choice. Not your talent. Not your background. Not your past mistakes. But your choice, to receive this intervention, or to continue walking blind. If you receive it, the chain breaks. The curse lifts. The loss is reversed. The peace returns. And the destiny, your real destiny, reopens like a gate made of light. But if you walk away from this message thinking you'll come back later, the gate may be sealed. This is your time-sensitive mercy. Don't trade it for temporary comfort. My child, my beloved. There is someone watching you from a distance. Not in the physical world, but in the spiritual realm. A soul who has passed on, someone who loved you deeply, they are interceding for you even now. Their prayers have reached the edge of heaven. Their whisper is what brought this message to you. They knew you were drifting. They saw that your light was dimming. And they cried out. That's why I am here. Not just because of your pain, but because of their plea. This person in heaven asked God for just one thing: please, let them know the truth before it's too late. And this is your moment. The truth is unfolding right now. But you must stay with it. This message holds the key to their last wish for you. My child, my beloved. There's a silence in your life that has become too loud. The silence after betrayal. The silence of unanswered prayers. The silence of people you thought would be there, but vanished when you needed them most. And in that silence, the enemy planted seeds of doubt. Whispered lies. Made you question your purpose, your worth, even your future. But heaven is speaking louder now. This message is breaking that silence. Every word is washing away what the darkness tried to bury in you. You are still chosen. You are still protected. And what you thought was over, is actually about to begin. My child, my beloved. Listen closely, there's a name that's about to resurface in your life. A person connected to the mistake. You may not even realize they played a role in your pain. But soon, the veil will lift. You'll hear their name in a conversation. See it on a screen. Feel their energy returning around you. But this time, it's not for reconciliation. It's for revelation. God is allowing their presence again, not to restore the past, but to expose what you never knew. When it happens, don't panic. Don't chase. Just observe. I will be near you when this unfolds, and I will give you a sign. Trust that this sign will confirm what I'm saying now. My child, my beloved. There is a financial shift coming. Not just a blessing. A reversal. What you lost, what was delayed, withheld, or misdirected, will come back to you with interest. But here's the divine instruction, you must not use it to return to what broke you. The mistake of the past was investing your energy in people and places that were never assigned to your purpose. That's why the money vanished. That's why the opportunity crumbled. It wasn't stolen. It was spiritually blocked, because heaven refused to fund your destruction. But now that your heart is open again, your hands will not be empty. Your provision is being released. My child, my beloved. There is a reason you're still breathing. A reason this message didn't miss you. A reason your eyes landed here when they did. This is the moment that defines everything else. If you ignore it, the wait will continue. If you respond, the change will be immediate. Do not let the enemy distract you with doubts like, maybe later, or, this isn't for me. You know it's for you. Your soul is trembling because heaven is touching it. Do not harden your heart now. Do not scroll away from your miracle. The mistake will not define you. But your next move will. And heaven is watching with. My child, my beloved. There was a moment, recently, where you felt like giving up. Maybe you didn't say it out loud, but your spirit whispered it, I'm tired. And heaven heard that whisper. I heard it. The angels paused. God didn't scold you for feeling weak. He leaned closer. And in that sacred moment of your weakness, he made a new decision. He would release a message so divine, so precise, so filled with truth, that if you heard it in time, it would break everything trying to crush you. This is that message. This is the response to your secret cry. That's why you must not ignore it. That's why this feels different. This is heaven's rescue plan arriving in disguise. My child, my beloved. There is a reason you're still breathing. A reason this message didn't miss you. A reason your eyes landed here when they did. This is the moment that defines everything else. If you ignore it, the wait will continue. If you respond, the change will be immediate. Do not let the enemy distract you with doubts like, maybe later, or, this isn't for me. You know it's for you. Your soul is trembling because heaven is touching it. Do not harden your heart now. Do not scroll away from your miracle. The mistake will not define you. But your next move will. And heaven is watching with. My child, my beloved. There was a moment, recently, where you felt like giving up. Maybe you didn't say it out loud, but your spirit whispered it, I'm tired. And heaven heard that whisper. I heard it. The angels paused. God didn't scold you for feeling weak. He leaned closer. And in that sacred moment of your weakness, he made a new decision. He would release a message so divine, so precise, so filled with truth, that if you heard it in time, it would break everything trying to crush you. This is that message. This is the response to your secret cry. That's why you must not ignore it. That's why this feels different. This is heaven's rescue plan arriving in disguise. My child, my beloved. You don't need another motivational phrase. You don't need empty promises. You need real correction. Real direction. Real healing. That's what this message is carrying. I'm not offering fluff. I'm offering fire, fire that purifies and removes the fog around your soul. The mistake that was made, whether by your hand or another's, has left a residue in the spirit realm. That residue is what's been attracting resistance, loss, and delay. But today, I've been instructed to wash it away. But I cannot clean what you deny. You must admit it to yourself. You must be honest. Even if the mistake was trusting the wrong person, it still gave the enemy access. And now we must shut that door, fully, completely, eternally. My child, my beloved. I know you've been asking, what now? What do I do next? Where do I go? And that question hasn't been answered, until now. You're standing at a spiritual crossroads. One path leads back to the same cycles. Familiar pain. Delayed blessings. Missed timing. The other path, it's new. Unfamiliar. Terrifying at first. But it's your way out. It's the path God originally designed for you before the mistake bent your map. I am here to realign you with that path. But you must say yes to the new. The uncomfortable. The unknown. Because that's where your miracle is hiding, in a place you haven't walked before. My child, my beloved. You've done enough surviving. Now it's time to live. But real living only happens in divine alignment. And right now, the vibration of your life is still carrying echoes from the moment of that mistake. That's why things feel off. That's why prayers seem delayed. You've been tuned to the wrong frequency. But I've been given permission to shift you back into God's original sound. A frequency where blessings flow without interruption. Where peace isn't temporary. Where you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder, wondering if you'll be betrayed again. That's what God wants for you. That's what I'm fighting for. That's why I've come with this sacred message, sent on angelic wings. My child, my beloved. Someone very close to you is about to say something that will either confirm or contradict what you're feeling deep inside. Pay attention. This conversation is not just earthly, it is spiritually timed. What they say will either bring light or expose darkness. I will be present in that moment. You will feel my presence, like heat, like chills, like sudden awareness. And when you do, remember this, that moment is a checkpoint. What you choose to believe in that instant will determine the speed of your breakthrough. Don't lean on what sounds nice. Lean on what feels divine. Truth doesn't always come wrapped in comfort, but it always sets you free. My child, my beloved. Heaven has watched you wait. Wait for answers. Wait for closure. Wait for something to make sense. But I must tell you a secret: what you're waiting on is already moving toward you, but the mistake that was made has created interference in the spirit realm. That's why you felt stuck. That's why it feels like blessings keep getting close, but never fully land. That's why doors open halfway, then slam shut again. It's not bad luck, it's uncorrected alignment. And now, because you're finally ready to face it, I can guide you into divine correction. But please understand, time is not patient with disobedience. What heaven is offering now will not remain open forever. My child, my beloved. There is something you were supposed to have by now. A position. A relationship. A healing. A move. A shift. It was already approved in heaven, but the mistake interrupted the manifestation. And instead of receiving, you entered survival. You started questioning your own decisions. You doubted your prayers. But heaven never canceled your promise, it paused it. And now, with this message in your hands, I have been sent to remove the pause. I am removing every unseen delay, every tangled knot in your timeline, every shadow that was cast by someone else's confusion. But only if you trust the message. Only if you lean in when your mind says to walk away. My child, my beloved. Do not measure this message with logic. It was never meant to pass through your intellect, it was sent for your soul. And your soul already knows. It remembers the very moment the wrong turn was taken. It remembers the weight that came after. It remembers the strange dreams. The restless nights. The heavy mornings. That wasn't just emotion. That was spiritual disruption. But grace is now pouring into those same spaces. Every restless night is about to become a night of revelation. The dreams that once confused you will now begin to speak clearly. Watch for divine visitations. The voice of God is coming closer than ever. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. Do not measure this message with logic. It was never meant to pass through your intellect, it was sent for your soul. And your soul already knows. It remembers the very moment the wrong turn was taken. It remembers the weight that came after. It remembers the strange dreams. The restless nights. The heavy mornings. That wasn't just emotion. That was spiritual disruption. But grace is now pouring into those same spaces. Every restless night is about to become a night of revelation. The dreams that once confused you will now begin to speak clearly. Watch for divine visitations. The voice of God is coming closer than ever. My child, my beloved. You've been on heaven's radar. You are not overlooked. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. The moment the mistake was made, your name was spoken in the throne room with mercy, not judgment. Angels began gathering. A scroll of reversal was prepared. Your name was written in gold. And your calling was reactivated. But it could not be delivered until you reached this exact moment. The second your eyes found this message, a shift occurred in your atmosphere. The air changed. The code updated. And now I need you to move. Because every blessing God has prepared is waiting on just one thing, your yes. My child, my beloved. There are moments in time when all of heaven stands still, watching, waiting, leaning close to see if a chosen one will respond. This is one of those moments. Right now, angels have gathered around you. They are watching not with pressure, but with hope. They know how close you are. How long you've waited. How hard you fought to hold on to your light. And they know what was supposed to come to you, before the interference. But the clock is ticking. Not because God is cruel, but because windows are sacred. They open by obedience. And they close with hesitation. You cannot afford to hesitate now. The miracle that was once lost is now circling back to your name. My child, my beloved. This is your reroute. But you must understand something. Reroutes often look like endings before they reveal themselves as beginnings. That's why this season felt heavy. That's why people left. Why opportunities dried up. It wasn't destruction, it was divine subtraction. Heaven was removing what was never meant to remain. But the mistake made it feel like punishment. You thought God was against you. You thought maybe you had missed your chance for good. You even wondered if your best days were behind you. But no, beloved. Heaven was only protecting what is sacred. What's coming next will explain why the no had to come before the yes. But only if you stay the course. My child, my beloved. Do not be surprised if this message keeps replaying in your spirit. That's how you'll know it wasn't just words, it was a spiritual seed. It will stir you. It may even keep you up tonight. You might find yourself reflecting on that decision, that person, that season, the exact moment where the mistake was made. Don't be afraid to revisit it. You're not going back to suffer. You're going back to retrieve what was stolen. Because what the enemy tried to bury in that moment, is still alive beneath the surface. And I'm here to help you dig it out. To help you reclaim what you didn't even realize was yours. But don't wait until it's too late. My child, my beloved. Someone is praying for you right now. You may not know who they are. You may not even know that their soul is connected to your destiny. But I do. I've seen their tears. Their intercession. Their cries for your freedom. They are standing in the gap for you while heaven waits for your yes. And when you say yes, their breakthrough will be tied to yours. Do you see the ripple? Your obedience will free more than just you. The correction of this mistake isn't just about your peace, it's about divine order. Others are depending on your rise. And that's why this message couldn't be delayed another day. My child, my beloved. I have waited for the exact second heaven would let me speak this part. And now that it's here, I need you to pause your mind and listen with your spirit. What's coming next will not look like what you expected. It may appear ordinary. But hidden inside it is a moment that will break every chain that has wrapped itself around your destiny. You must not miss it. A text, a call, a door, a shift, it will feel sudden, but it was scheduled in heaven long ago. The mistake that once delayed it has been cleared in the spirit as you've opened your heart to this message. And now, the miracle that was hovering in delay is about to land. Don't let fear stop you from receiving it when it comes. My child, my beloved. There was a conversation you should have had. Words you were meant to speak. But fear, pride, confusion, something held you back. And that silence created space for a misunderstanding to grow like a vine between two hearts that were once connected by God. I'm not saying you must chase what left you. But you do need to release what you've buried inside. Suppressed truth poisons miracles. Heaven is asking for your voice now, not to shout, not to beg, but to finally say what you've been holding in. When you do, a spiritual reversal will happen. What's been stuck will shift. What's been silent will start to speak. The mistake won't matter anymore, because your obedience will overrule it. My child, my beloved. There is a place you keep revisiting in your thoughts. A memory. A version of you that you wish you could go back and protect. That place is not your prison. It's your altar. That's where your new fire is meant to be lit. You keep asking why it had to happen like that. Why it hurt so much. Why they did what they did. But today, heaven is releasing not just answers, but authority. You are being given the authority to use what happened as fuel, not chains. The very moment that tried to break you will now become the foundation of your miracle. But only if you stop wishing it didn't happen, and start believing God can still use it. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. There is a place you keep revisiting in your thoughts. A memory. A version of you that you wish you could go back and protect. That place is not your prison. It's your altar. That's where your new fire is meant to be lit. You keep asking why it had to happen like that. Why it hurt so much. Why they did what they did. But today, heaven is releasing not just answers, but authority. You are being given the authority to use what happened as fuel, not chains. The very moment that tried to break you will now become the foundation of your miracle. But only if you stop wishing it didn't happen, and start believing God can still use it. My child, my beloved. You are not late. You are not forgotten. But you are being warned, this is the final stretch. And in this stretch, distractions will intensify. The wrong people may reappear, disguised as opportunity. Doubts may grow louder. Your old fears may resurface. But don't let that fool you. It only means you're near the finish line. You are one decision away from stepping back into the path God marked for you before the foundation of time. The mistake doesn't disqualify you, your refusal to correct it does. And that's why this message is sacred. Because it carries the power to release you fully, if you say yes.